Welcome back. Now, in recent months, we've seen a growing wave of political defections involving key Igbo politicians, especially governors and influential party leaders, shifting from one party to the other. And so today we'll take a closer look at the Igbo agenda in the light of political defections. With us in the studio this morning is Sir Martin Ani. He's a political analyst and commentator. Good morning. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you, Uche. It's my pleasure.
Morning.
Thank you, Lillian.
It's
It's
our
a
pleasure
pleasure to be here. Thank you.
Now, while we talk about the Igbo agenda, let's first of all look at the hashtag Free Nnamdi Kanu protest that happened yesterday in Abuja. Okay. We saw how the Southeast states, how it was like. So tell us, what are your thoughts?
Well, my thought is that it's a welcome development that the agitations the Igbo man has been making over the years, to be recognized as a part and parcel of Nigeria, is also gaining traction with other regions. This time around from Shore, who is a southwesterner. So it's a good development, and Nigerians have the right to protest. By the way, there's no way in the Constitution that 1999 Constitution has amended that prohibits any Nigerian from freedom of speech. You might have your way, the majority might have their say, but you should be able to have your way, to have your say, while the majority has they take their way. Because you shouldn't be comfortable with all the development. All of us can be comfortable with all the development. With the current status quo, we can't be comfortable. You might feel different from the way I'm feeling. So you have the right to feel so. So for me, it was a welcome development that there was protest yesterday to agitate for the release of Nnamdi Kanu, who has been on trial, meanwhile, for over a decade now. And then he has not been found guilty. And then the courts has asked him to go severally, from High Court and all that, Court of Appeal rather, and other state high courts, in Enugu, in Owerri. But then he hasn't been let free by the federal government. So there is more to that meets the eye. So it was a welcome development. Thank God there were little skirmishes, but no life was lost. So that's the way I feel about yesterday's protest, 20th October protest led by former presidential candidate Omoyele Showore. Yeah.
All right. Thank you for that analysis. But now let's talk about why we're here today.
Okay.
So what are your thoughts on the recent political defections of governors, their major lawmakers? But let's bring it back to Southeast. Okay. What are your thoughts?
Well, for me, the governors have their right. They have the freedom to move from wherever they want. They feel their lot will be bettered, wherever they feel that their political fortune will be better advanced. So in this case, most of the governors have been moving. There has been a gale of defections from that of Enugu, starting from Edo. Now it has landed in Bayelsa. Plateau, Muftwang is plotting to defect. And then, so they have their right to move, just like Nigerians have the right to associate. Freedom of association is a guaranteed fundamental human rights. So for me, they are free to associate with any party they feel comfortable with. And then this didn't just start today. Right from 1960, taken from a historical point of view, NCNC, National Council of Nigerians and Cameroon, heavily led by Dr. Nnamdi Azikiwe, was there. So that he was there didn't mean that all the Igbos followed him. Some also joined Awolowo in Action Congress. What is it called? So and other political parties that were there. So most of them were regional based, but then not all political actors from the same region joined Shagare or Zik in NCNC. So for me, the governors have the right to decide where they go. But the only thing we should be talking about is that they should ensure that the future of the region is projected so that we could get to the center. It looks as if we are in the periphery. If you look at the Southeast setting, you take note that during the Fourth Republic, much later after 1999, during the return of Nigeria to the democratic rule in Fourth Republic. There was Obasanjo there in PDP. There was, in PDP then. There was Jim Obodo there. There was also Dr. Alex Ekweme, who led the G34 movement that restored democracy in Nigeria. But you discover that Jim contested against Dr. Alex Ekweme, and then the Igbo votes were split in favor of former President Obasanjo, who came out of prison then to contest, and the elites and the political gladiators, supported him to, come in as a kind of, to assuage the Southwesterners for MK Abiola's June 12 lost mandate. So that was actually what happened. But you find out that the Igbos were not also together, and that was why Jim Obodo was brought into the fray. And then he contested against his brother and split the votes in a just convention primaries that brought Obasanjo, that made Obasanjo to win the primaries and flew the flag of the party. So what am I trying to say? Whatever anybody has a right to defect, if you ask the governor of Enugu State, Dr. Peter Mbah today, he will tell you reasons why he had to defect. And mind you, PDP has been here for a long time. For over 16 years, they ruled Nigeria. And Enugu, for instance, has been a kind of headquarters of PDP in the southeast. This is the first time Enugu people are leaving PDP, led by the current governor. So the point here is, what have we benefited since the closest person that would have taken us to the national politics would have been late Dr. Alex Ekweme. Unfortunately, he lost that primaries in 1999 January. And since then, it has been difficult. Now ask yourself, do Igbos need to have one political front? No. The answer is no. It is politically suicidal for all of us to put all our eggs in one basket. If we do so, if the basket crashes, then we've lost it all. So whenever anybody tells you, oh, up guy, political party, right from history, every political party may start from regional basis. Even 1979, you see under Fedeco, you will see Jim Obodo with another party. You will see Shagare in NPMP. You will see Zik in Nigerian People's Party. Not all the Igbo persons followed, the Igbo man to his own party. But the important thing is that at least at least at a point we had someone in the person of Dr. Alex Ekweme who aligned with Shagare and later became the vice president. So, but while he was doing that, some persons would have said, why didn't you align with Zik? With another political party that is home based. So you see the point. So the point here is that all of us wouldn't have our eggs in one basket. That is suicidal, because if that basket crashes, then we lose it. So the challenge we have in Igbo land is that, for instance, APGA. You know APGA. They say Onyaga and one layer. That is to say, it is our own. They say this one is our own. It's not their own. It can't be so. No political party thrives with keeping it to your chest and not allowing it to go around. So that's why APGA is currently dying. I hope you are aware. APGA was in Abia before. When he took off from Anambra, he was in Abia. He was making waves in Imo. But today, APGA has collapsed into Anambra under Soludo. And Soludo is also aligning with APC at the center. You okay? So you can see that APGA has not been able to move forward. Under Chekwas Okoro, they tried to move Abia to the north, to Plateau and all that. But at the end of the day, when there was crisis in the party, today we have Ezor, we have so many, a lot of bickerings. So APGA was not able to move forward. You saw what happened in the Southwest under the current president when he was running Action Congress. Okay? And then they discovered that the party was a bit regional and they needed alliance. And they moved, in alliance, and they allied with CPC and then finally the current APC. And that's why the man has moved from the periphery to the center today. He's the president of Nigeria. Because he discovered that his regional party in the southwest, which was grabbing power in the past, needed to move forward. And he had to align with the north. He aligned with Buhari at the time. And then Buhari collapsed his structure, CPC, and all of them came together. And today they have APC, and they're in power. The essence of political party is to win elections. It's not to decorate your room or decorate your house and say, Nkabu, this is Igbo thing, this is not our thing, leave this. And so that's why I'm saying this is for you to begin to understand that APC had moved from where it used to be to something else today. They have completely decapitated the broom, and the umbrella is leaking. As you are aware, just yesterday, the secretary of the party denied that he signed the letter that authorized the convention they are planning. So what is that telling you? So if you are a governor in such a party, don't you think you are jeopardizing your political future by continuing to stay? So the Igbos need to have a rethink. Okay?
Right. Now, Sir Annie, you've said that, speaking on the issue of aligning to the center, you've said that the Igbos should not put all their eggs in one basket.
Exactly.
But now, with these defections, would you not say that the politicians are now putting their eggs in one basket, which is the APC, because they are all trying to align with the center? And where does the Igbo agenda stand in all of these alignments?
Thank you for that question. It's important we take that discussion. The governors who are actually defecting to APC today should not continue to play at the periphery. They should actually come to the center. Igbo should have an agenda of coming to the mainstream. I'm not actually advocating for mass movement to APC. Take note of that. I'm only telling you that people are living where they feel they are no more comfortable with to where they feel the future lies. Their future lies. Take my point. I'm not actually advocating defections to APC, because I'm not here to speak for APC. I'm only saying that Igbos should look towards getting to the center, taking power. That is the essence of politicking. Coming to the mainstream. Take note that before Buhari got to power in 2015, that he discovered that his northern regional politics could not take him anywhere. And he forged an alliance with Southwesterner, ably led by Tinubu, and then aggregated themselves over there and formed an alliance. And after it was a case of, I pass the ball to you, when you are done, please remember to pass the ball over to me. And you know, we've always had this north and south divide that have also determined how power is also rotated. So when Buhari did first tenure, did second tenure, I don't know how it happened, but somehow power now moved to the current president, Asiwaju Bola Tinubu. You understand my point? So the Igbos in all the defections, whether it's to APC or to Labour tomorrow, the concern is to bring the Igbos to the mainstream. Because the Igbos have been crying wolf of marginalization, which is obvious. Of course, Buhari described us as a dot in a circle and denied Igbos all the appointments. So we actually lost in that administration. It was only the second Niger bridge that we gained. Now, Bola Tinubu is here, and we don't know. All the appointments are still tilting towards southwest and north. So the Igbos should actually come together if they are actually moving to APC and ask for a fair share of the cake. In other words, if you have 5 service chiefs, chief of army staff, chief of navy, blah, 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 where is the Igbo man in all of that? If you have an IG of police for over the years, where is an Igbo man? Are the Igbos not qualified to rule Nigeria? Don't we have the best brains? After we had the former Governor General and the ceremonial president former Governor General 1960 to 63, and the ceremonial president 63 to the Q of 1966. Okay? In the person of Zik, under Zikism, under National Conference of Nigeria, a nationalist movement that he used to fight for independence, since then, no Igbo man had become a president of Nigeria. We've just been playing at the periphery. So what should be at the back of the mind of those who are defecting, our political leaders, our governors who are leading their states to the camp, and the goal of defection is still on the rise, is to get to the center. And we've not become president since Vice President Alex Ekwueme did under 1979 with Shagari. And I hope you understand me. Yes. We've not had a vice president since then. The much that have been done was under Atiku. Senator Ndiobi ran as his running mate. I think Peter Obi also ran as his running mate. And those two attempts, we failed. So all our attempt to get a shot at the presidency or get a shot at the vice presidency has all failed up to date from 1960. How many years? Nigeria is 65 years. Minus 63 and 66, 6 years of Zik, Governor General, and this ceremonial president. 6 years minus 6 years, you have about 59 years. Without the Igbo man being at the center. And then the Igbo man is everywhere in Nigeria contributing to the economic development of Nigeria. So why shouldn't they have the best brain that could become a president of Nigeria? So that's a challenge.
All right, now, so from what you're saying
now,
are you saying that the civil war in 1967 to 1970 have actually something to do with the exclusion or inclusion of the Igbos presently? And do you think their past decisions has actually kept us where we are?
Yeah, thank you, Lillian, for that question. It still remains, one can boldly say that Nigerians haven't accepted the Igbo man since after the independence, since after the Civil War, which was declared no victor, no vanquish. It means that we were actually vanquished, and they actually won, and they've continued to stay with power. That's actually, in fact, if someone doesn't accept you in this room, you will never come to the living room where you will relax. He will keep you in one kitchen or one corner of the store. That's where Nigeria Igbo man have been kept. And that's why till today, the only political prisoner in Nigeria today is Nnamdi Kanu. That's the only political prisoner in Nigeria till today. And Zaki was once detained, kept for over many years. He is now free. The other man that ran to Igbo, that ran to Benin Republic, when the federal states fought him, he ran away. They arrested him in Benin, detained him. So your question is actually germane. The Igbo man needs to be accepted as a Nigerian with the full blood of a Nigerian. And because we live in the north, we live in the southwest, you can see that most of the demolitions going on in Lagos, 80% or more belongs to Nigerians, belongs to the Igbo man. Because the Igbos are very enterprising, and they are everywhere in Nigeria. If you go to the north, you don't look for an Igbo man. Just at a knock, they will show you his shop, his business. And he's friendly, and he's devoted and committed. So why are there Nigerians chasing away the Igbo man from participating in governance in Nigeria? The much we've gotten is because it's something that's statutory, constitutional, they give us a minister. The one that's given to Enugu just recently dropped because of certificate issue. And we don't know. If not because of constitution, maybe Bola Tinubu will keep quiet. Look at all the federal agencies, appointments. Look at all the appointees. If you see any appointment that has 7 board members, you might not see an Igbo man. Maybe if you take 3, 4, 5 appointments, then you see one Igbo man. Is that how a nation is run? We are on a tripod. We are standing on a 3-leg. So one leg is actually removed, and that is the Igbo man. So I feel, like you just said, that the Igbo man has not been forgiven for what Dumegojukwu, the war he declared in 1966 or 67 that ended in 1970 for after 3 years. With all the massacre, with all the pogrom, with all the destruction of lives, it has not been accepted. If not, why has it been difficult for the Igbo man, the Yoruba man to forge an alliance with Igbo, or the Hausa man to forge an alliance with the Igbo? So that then, the Igbo man needs to come together anyway. So that whichever party you are going in, they need to work together to get to the mainstream. They need to play strategic politics to actually become president of Nigeria. If not, if they're going to play local politics, they may not have the numbers to win the election, because election is won by numbers. In 1963 or so, and during one of the elections, I think that should be 1979. Because of this kind of thing, the candidate of the Igbo candidate couldn't win to 3rd of the vote cast in 25% of the vote cast in 25 states. You know, that was why, sorry, that was it in 1963. He was not able to win to 25% of 2/3 of the states, sorry, in 1979. That was why it was difficult for an Igbo man to win that election. So if you understand that we will have disadvantage in population, then we have to do something else, and that is forge alliance.
All right.
If not, it will be difficult for us to win elections.
All right, Uche, before you ask your question, I just want to make something clear before I forget. Then you were talking about forging an alliance, and you know, you also spoke about Nnamdi Kanu being the only political prisoner. Yeah. So now, do you think that Sowore and Atiku is trying to forge alliance with the Igbos? And then you made mention that when Obasanjo left the prison, he became a politician with so much power. So also, do you think that this might be the case of Nnamdi Kanu, that the FG might actually, you know, recognize him? Or do you think this is something that the Tinubu is trying to use to gain the favor of the Igbos when he releases Nnamdi Kanu? Do you think Nnamdi Kanu is his ticket come 2027?
This has always been the card that has been played. Under Buhari, they said he was keeping him ahead of 2019. He was keeping him ahead of this, ahead of second tenure after 2015. That has been always the card that has been flown. So I don't see this as correct. You rather need him possibly to work with him, to gather his people, to give you vote. So what would Tinubu lose if he calls for a no case against Nnamdi Kanu and drops the case? I don't think Nnamdi Kanu will go and take a gun and begin to look for how to bring the government down. No. So if someone forgives you, for instance, already Nnamdi Kanu say he has no offense, and you say he has an offense. If it's okay, let's drop it. You don't have, I don't have either. Now let's go. No victor, no vanquish. Is it not? So why would you go back and begin to fight me if I have actually forgiven you and you say you don't have an offense? So I don't see it as something that will be beneficial. Rather, it will be something that will make the Igbos not to vote for his party, to see his party as anti-Igbo. You understand me? Because if you're actually holding my father somewhere, or my brother, or my sister somewhere, and then you come tomorrow and say, vote for me, I will tell you, no, I wouldn't do that. Because you are an enemy. Enemy to one is enemy to the other. Injustice to one is injustice to the others. So what are we trying to say? It is in his interest. Buhari failed to take advantage of that. And then we have Tinubu today. So it's actually in their interest to let Nnamdi Kanu go. Just fall back on what the Court of Appeal has done in the past. Several courts. And then the Attorney General will dust that up, and on that basis, the President will approve, and there will be no case.
Right. Now, moving away from Nnamdi Kanu, you've mentioned a couple of times when talking that the Igbos should come together.
Exactly.
Now, looking at the Igbos as a people and our political leaders, the Igbo political leaders, would you say that the Igbos are truly together? And these politicians that have defected with the guise of bringing the Igbos to the center, why haven't they made their terms and demands public so that the Igbo people know that they are truly bringing their interests to the center? Are we really together?
Yeah, just like there was a program I featured, and I said, you know, in political science, there's what we call elitist politics, and then the popular politics. The popular politics is what resonates with you and I. For instance, in Igbo, and then in Enugu, where we are, the popular politics is that APC is a terrible party. No one wants to associate with APC. That is popular. Now, today, the elites have seen that the PDP, where they are, has failed them. Don't forget that an Enugu man, Honorable Dokoye, was nominated to be the party's PDP National Secretary. And that matter, you know, dragged on for a long while. And the governor of Enugu State, with other PDP stakeholders, insisted that if you don't take Udokoye, then you don't want us. We need to renegotiate our future. And that's exactly what the governor has done. I'm not his spokesman. But then I'm only telling you that as a public affairs analyst, I've studied the body language and all that. So PDP has failed the state. That's what he said. Possibly PDP has also failed other people who are defecting. Not only PDP people are defecting. In Enugu State, we had 2 Labour Party senators, I think. Okay, one is here to defect officially, Ideke, in Soka. But the one, Senator Igbo also, the one late Igbo, his brother, in Igbo or somebody, Chukwu, he has long defected to APC. So what are we trying to say? No one is forcing anyone to move. People are moving to where they feel their lot will be bettered. So what the Igbo man should do is actually to unite. And wherever they find themselves, to work in alliance with others to get to the center. Because if you don't actually get to the center, you are not mainstreaming. In politics, you need to mainstream. If not, you'll be losing quite a lot.
That's what I'm saying. From what you've seen so far, would you say that we are actually together? Okay,
the challenge here is that our Republican nature, the democratic Republican nature of the Igbo man, the Igbo man is said to be Republican. That is to say, if we are all Omonnas here from one family, for us to determine who will be ahead, we need to actually hear from everybody. That's actually why it looks as if everybody is speaking at the same time. So, but the Igbo man needs to come together. I agree with you. We are so divided. Like I mentioned, in 1999, Senator Jim Wobodo didn't have need to run for PDP presidential candidate when he had a bigger brother in the person of Dr. Alex Okweme also running. And that was where we lost it. So our votes were divided amongst themselves. While other people got bulk vote, no one came from the southwest. And they gave it to Tinubu. 2 people came from southeast. They divided our votes. And then the north aligned with Obasanjo, and they won. So you understand. So the Igbo man needs to come together. I agree with you. This bickering and backbiting, you know one popular Igbo man who is a presidential candidate. Every day you see a lot of Igbo man bad-mouthing him. You see persons like Professor Soludo, who is supposed to be a respected man, talking down on him. When other people are, respecting him, holding him in high esteem, the Igbo man is trying to drag him down. So the pull him down syndrome is the challenge. We need to respect our own. I was reading up something recently in social media, and then imagine Dr. Cosmas Modoka, a notable Igbo man, and one Igbo man who calls himself white money or black, what did they call themselves? Cubana chief priest. Was really talking him down, that he said that this idea of saying that money is water is flawed, is nonsensical, is not supposed to be acceptable. Why would money be water? And then why is it that everybody is not getting it? Money is a scarce commodity, has always been and will continue to be. My sisters, if you don't work hard to make money, you can't make money. Even when God said, I will bless you, you must certainly put out your hands to do some work. So why would an Igbo man be attacking such a respected Igbo businessman who has paid his dues, who has raised quite a lot of millionaires in Nigeria, simply because they are doing club business and throwing money? Why would Madoka at his level come to party and throw money? When Madoka gives people hundreds of millions to set them up in business and sets up businesses all over Nigeria and employs people and makes sure families earn a living.
I get what you're saying.
So we need to stop talking down on one another, especially those who are doing well among us. We need to promote them. And again, that takes me to the protest of yesterday, 20th October. Why would some Igbo persons see it as a Yoruba agenda? That they are talking about releasing your brother. How many Yoruba man has been in cell and the Igbo man led the protest? Yes, they could have shot Shore or they could have killed him. But some people still see it as politics. Now, so that is actually wrong.
Because we're running out of time, I just want to ask you, since now from what you've said, you've said now that the Igbos seem not to really be together.
Yeah.
And you've also made mention earlier when Lillian asked the question, you mentioned that Igbos have not yet been forgiven due to Ojukwu's declaration. And the Yorubas and the Hausas still have difficulty aligning with the Igbo people. Now, seeing these defections to the APC, which is the center, would you say that this is going to help the Igbo bargaining power in Nigerian politics? Would it help or would it weaken it? What are your thoughts on that?
It will help depending on how the defector, the interest of the defector, because the challenge is that the Bible says that the heart of man is desperately wicked and no one can understand it. Just like we are seated there, you don't know what I'm thinking. I don't know what you're thinking. But we believe that they should think aright. And in thinking aright, they should come to the center and fight for the welfare of the Igbo man. protection of the lives and properties of the Igbo man, whether it is in Yoruba, whether it's in Hausa, whether it's in, tell them enough is enough. Look, we are here to do business. We are not here to play politics. Please give us what is our due, or we pull out. And then everybody will say, oh, sorry, what's your due? Please, release him now to Kano. Finish his trial. Trial can't last till thy kingdom come. Finish the trial. Give us our due. If you are forming board executive or chairman or whatever, please give us our due. So they should actually go there united. Even if they are coming from Labour Party front or from whichever front you are coming from, once you are at the center there, discuss about the Igbo man. Tell him we are giving you your support, but in turn, give us. That's the only way we can make progress. But if everybody is pursuing their personal interests, either pursuing to protect his own personal business, pursuing to only put his brother and sister and at the detriment of the people, then we are not going anywhere. So, but I believe that they should do that because we have suffered enough. The roads are bad, the schools everywhere. So we need, and unemployment is high. And then when they make recruitment, the Igbo persons are not recognized, both in public service and political appointment. So those things need to be, there should be equity, there should be justice, so that Nigerians can, and just like you mentioned, it was the philosopher Socrates that mentioned that the unexamined life is not worth living, end of quote. So the Igbos need to examine where we are today. Because the unexamined life is not worth living. How can you not examine your business, take an auditor to look at what the business is doing, look at how it's faring, so that you know what to avoid and what to strategies, new segment to open, or how to fortify, or to repackage, rebrand, market. Those are the things you need to examine. So Igbo man needs to sit down and say, what have we gained? What is our challenge? And how do we set out to solve it? Then again, that brings us to Hanez and Igbo. The division in Hanez and Igbo, you are here. You can see one speaking, he calls himself Isuguzo. You can see another one speaking, he calls himself, this one gives directives here to the left, this one gives directives to the left, this one says, oh, the protest is Shoro, don't join him. The other one says, the protest is for Igbo, join. So we need to form a united front. The idea that Igbo Mweze should actually die. Igbos have kings. If not for anything, you respect your elder. Most of these people are their elders. You don't talk down on your elder. At most, you find a way to, diplomatically pass your message to him, but not come to the social media and begin to talk, because he doesn't feed me. The next year, he doesn't feed me. He doesn't pay my bills. He doesn't say, I'll drive a car, drive big car. Then you talk down on your elder. That's wrong.
All right. Now, we believe that the Igbos have a lot to do in,
personal introspection.
A cohesive Igbo political front.
Yeah. Thank
you very much, Sir Martin, and for joining us in the studio this morning.
Thank you, Lillian. It's my pleasure. Thank you, Iche. Thank you, Signature TV.
All right. Now, we just spoke to a public analyst and a political analyst on the topic Igbo agenda in the light of political defections. And you're still watching Signature Morning. We'll take a short break. When we return, our next guest comes to the show. Stay with us.